Hi, welcome to the How Do I video series on Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015. My name is Mark Brummel and I'm an MVP for Microsoft Dynamics NAV. I will be presenting how do I implement the copy document pattern in Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015. This video is made in collaboration with Plataan, a Microsoft Dynamics Learning Center from Belgium, and Microsoft. At the end of this video, you will have an idea on how to implement the copy document pattern in Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015. The objective of this video is first to look at the design pattern from the standard application, and then how to implement the pattern yourself. But first let me explain design patterns shortly. Design patterns are common solutions or best practices to solve problems. This is a well-known concept in computer programming and can therefore be applied to Dynamics NAV as well. This video is part of a series around design patterns in Dynamics NAV, and during this video I will reference to other patterns and videos. In this video we will be going through 3 easy steps. In the first step, Meet the Pattern, we will look at how the copy document pattern works in the standard Dynamics NAV application from a functional perspective. In step 2, Know the Pattern, we will look at how the pattern is implemented in the application. In step 3, Use the Pattern, we will use the pattern in our own example application. Before we deep dive into the programming, let's have a look at how the design pattern works in the application. The copy document is a design pattern that is linked closely to the architectural pattern documents. For this I would also like to reference to the videos How do I use the document pattern, How do I read and understand posting routines, and How do I build solutions using design patterns. For most documents in Microsoft Dynamics NAV, you can use a function called copy document. This is available in sales and receivables, purchases and payables, assembly management, service orders, and production orders. Let's have a look at the feature from the sales and receivables perspective. If we create a new sales order, we can go to the copy document option and choose from each related sales document type. We can, for example, copy from a previous shipment if a customer wants to order the same components again. The options we have are to include the header, which is useful if we want to copy the shipment information, but can be unuseful since it will also copy dates. We can recalculate the lines if we want NAV to calculate prices based on the current pricing, or we can just leave the option blank if we want to use the pricing from the old document. We can see that the document has been copied and is a copy of the shipment number 102001. Now that we have seen how it works from the application, let's have a look at how this works from a technical perspective. To implement the pattern, we need 2 elements, a report and a code unit. All processes in Microsoft Dynamics NAV follow this pattern, except production orders. The reports are containers that allow the users to enter the options we saw in the request page. Let's trace the process from the action we just pushed on the sales order. We go to the Microsoft Dynamics NAV development environment and design page 42, the sales order. If we preview the page and click on the copy document action we just pushed, we can go to the AL code. If we open the AL code on the page action, we can see that the report is being called there. The report is a variable and we call a function, passing the current record before the report is executed. Let's go to the definition of the report. This is report 292 copy sales document. The report does not have any data items. In the list of global variables, we can see the code unit 6620 copy document management is a variable. If we open the request page, we can see the field definitions we saw earlier in the demo. If we look at the CAL code, we can see that when a user selects values, some checking code is executed. This is local code in the report that does some preconditional checks prior to the user hitting the OK button. In the onPre-report trigger, the code unit is initialized and executed. Since the report does not have any data items, the onPre-report and onPost-report have the same behavior. The code unit contains code for all modules in Microsoft Dynamics NAV. We'll focus on the sales document functions. The other functions are either similar or simplified from this. The general structure is similar to other structures in Microsoft Dynamics NAV. It uses the test near, test far, do it, clean up strategy. In the test near, it tests if a document is open and not released. In the test far, it tests item availability, payment discount, credit limit, and if the target document has lines, they are deleted. This is the code for the credit limit. This is the code where the existing sales lines are deleted. Here we test if the customer is blocked. In these functions, Microsoft Dynamics NAV tests the item availability. When everything is OK, the documents can be copied. This is done using the transfer field commands. This command moves all fields with the same number from one table to another. Remember this when adding fields across Microsoft Dynamics NAV. If you enter two fields with the same number and a different meaning to these sibling tables, you might find unexpected surprises or even runtime errors if the field types don't match. Additional actions that are processed for this document is applying entries. If you copy a posted invoice to a credit memo, the outstanding customer debt is applied so it doesn't show up on open entry reports. If this is done, the lines are copied using a buffer table. During this, the item tracking is applied, as with the customer entries. This makes sure inventory is reversed when we reverse the shipments. If the sales document is used from a job, the job planning lines are respected. And when all this is done, the sales document is released if required. And if there are things the user should know, we can throw warnings. Be very careful when making changes to this code unit. The pieces fit together exactly. Fields in the target tables are validated in exact order. If you add new fields to the document with the same number, chances are unlikely that you need to change this code unit. Let's see how we can implement the pattern in our own application. To do this, we would need to implement two objects, the report and the code unit. We will implement a new code unit. This prevents conflict when upgrading our code to newer versions. The functions in code unit 6620 are isolated from a technical perspective, and there is no advantage of implemented our functions inside a standard Microsoft Dynamics NAV routine. Instead of calling the report directly from a page, we will create a copy document function on the table. This allows us to implement the function on all pages that are related to the table without declaring the report variable, and it allows us to use the function from other application areas too. Let's go to the definition of the report. The report is structured exactly the same as we saw in the sales report. There are no data items, and there is a request page, which in our case has a document types, which is a document, a song or a dance, or we have the document number, and the document number points to the document table, the song table, or the dance table, depending on what document we want to copy. In the on-pre report, depending on the document type we selected, we go to our copy example document management code unit, and if we go to the definition of this code unit, we can see we have implemented a similar structure: test near, test far, do it, clean up. We test the status, we test if the example master data is blocked, we do a transfer fields, and we release the document. Depending on the document type, we have the test field for the open status, we have the test blocked for the example master data, we have the transfer fields. Please note that we do not copy the primary key fields. We release the example document and we modify the record. Let's look at this from the application. If we go to our example documents, we create a new document, assign a document number, we use the copy document feature, we can choose between documents and the posted songs and dances, we select document number 2, and we get a copy of the document we just selected. In this video, we have learned how to use the copy document pattern. We looked at how it's used from a functional perspective and how it is implemented in the standard application. Lastly, we created our own copy document in our example application. Thanks for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you again in another episode of the How Do I video series for design patterns in Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015.